Sunrise Radio, entertaining the nation, enjoyed by the world.
A culinary delight with an experience like no other. This is Somalia, located on Frigate Bay Strip. The music, ambience, A+ service is warm and welcoming. Each dish has a wine that complements it, having you savor the taste until the next time you visit. We also have an extensive variety of drinks to choose from and some of the best bartenders on the island. Come and have lunch with us or enjoy the amazing sunset while sitting on the deck or the beach and having dinner. Take your taste buds on a journey you will never forget. We are open Mondays, Wednesday to Saturday, the kitchen from 12 p.m. to 2:45 p.m., then reopens at 5 p.m. until. On Sundays from 4 p.m. until. Call us today at 762-9463 for reservations or more information. Somalia, where amazing delicacies and service awaits you.
Sunrise Airways connects the Caribbean. Fly from St. Kitts to Totola, St. Martin, Antigua, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, and Haiti. Enjoy competitive fares and more Caribbean destinations. Book today at sunriseairways.net with your travel agent or download our new mobile app and get great discounts. Sunrise Airways, One Caribbean. We fly to connect people. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Sunrise Airways.
You're locked to the Saturday Mega Mix with Magic Fingers.
In case you don't know us, you're just twisting the dial away and managed to bump into us. This is ZIZ Radio from Adam St. Kitts.
Interesting topics that we'll be discussing on what's going on with SKELEC, what new we have to implement, and how best we can serve you. This morning we'll be discussing powering the future, St. Kitts' next major step into energy transition. I am your host, Janisha Hendrickson, the Corporate Communications Officer at SKELEC. This morning we have a very distinguished panel. We have Honorable Connors Maynard, Minister with responsibility of public infrastructure, energy, utilities, domestic transport, information, communication, technology, and post. Also, we have the engineering manager, Kenwada Roberts. We have our energy transition specialist, Mr. Hanif Woods. And we have Miss Veronica from Castadia, and Mr. Javier, also from Castadia, the transaction advisors this morning. How are you guys doing this morning?
Good morning, doing well. Good morning, very well.
How are you doing, Minister?
Yes, good morning, doing well.
Good morning. Good morning, I'm well as well. Thanks for having us here.
You're welcome. So, as we begin our discussion this morning, SKELEC will be educating the public on our Bastia Valley 50 megawatt solar PV project battery storage. So as we begin our conversation, persons may be wondering, they're hearing 50 megawatt solar and battery project, what it is and why is it such a milestone. Mr. Roberts, can you start us
Yes,
off?
so good morning to all persons listening in Radio Land as well as on the various platforms. So the 50 megawatt solar project and battery storage. So what is this project about? Okay, so this project involves developing a large-scale 50 megawatt solar power plant with battery energy storage that will supply around 30% of St. Kitts' annual electricity needs. The solar plant will generate clean electricity during the day, and the battery, as you would expect, will help smooth out solar production and keep the electricity grid stable. The project also positions the St. Kitts as a regional leader in clean energy. And I must say that projects of this size, combining solar with battery storage, are still relatively new in the Caribbean. So this isn't just another power project. It's a transformational step toward a cleaner, more secure, and more modern energy future for St. Kitts.
All right, then thank you very much for your explanation, Mr. Roberts. It really helps our listeners to understand just how significant this project is, not only in supplying cleaner energy, but better positioning St. Kitts as a leader in the region. So, Minister Maynard, why was Cabinet approval important for this project, and how does it fit into the government's wider goals for energy transition, security, and sustainability?
Thank you for that question, and a pleasant good morning to the listening public. Now, as you are aware, SKELEC is wholly owned by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, and therefore for such a big issue like this, a 50 megawatt and 35 megawatt or so battery energy storage project, it's important to have the buying of the biggest stakeholder in the company, which is the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. But added to that, the renewable energy project that SKELEC is undertaking fits squarely into our overall CISA, or Sustainable Island State agenda, where energy is one of the key pillars, if not the main and the central pillar of the other 7 pillars of the Sustainable Island State agenda. We believe that renewable energy transition is not just about meeting our climate commitments, not just about meeting our reduction in emissions. It is about our economic survivability and our energy security for the future. And so this was a very important project to get the blessing of the cabinet of the Federation, or the federal government. And what was important about this process, which I think we will speak about maybe a little later, is that by the time it got to cabinet, it had gone through all the necessary stages of analysis, all the due diligence, all the technical verification, the techno-economic impact, grid analysis impact, how will it affect our energy sector here in St. Kitts. And so it was well thought out, well discussed, well analyzed before it reached to cabinet. And so by the time it reached to cabinet, it was an easy yes for the cabinet to make for the project to move forward. And so as the representative of the cabinet responsible for overseeing the energy sector, and in particular SKELEC, we were very pleased, we were very happy to approve this project. And they would tell you when they came to submit this, it was immediate approval. There was no hold up because all the previous work had been done already.
Thank you very much, Minister Maynard. That really shows how thorough the process has been thus far and how the project ties in directly to the bigger goals, national goals per se, of security, sustainability, and the long-term stability as well. So, Mr. Hanif Woods, as the energy transition specialist at SKELEC, the term energy transition is often used. What does this mean in practical terms for St. Kitts, and how does this project move us closer into the transition?
Good morning once again, and thank you for that question. In practical terms, energy transition really refers to moving away from an electricity system solely that relies heavily on diesel fuel which is the case here in St. Kitts. In fact, across the Caribbean, we are very dependent on imported fossil fuels. With this in mind, the transition has to be one that allows us to move forward with cleaner, more sustainable, and even more affordable energy that is produced from our own indigenous renewable energy sources. And all of that has to be done safely and reliable. You also asked, how does this project move us closer to this transition? This project is a significant step towards our country's nationally determined contribution targets of achieving 100% renewable energy by 2035. The national determined contributions are essentially commitments by countries around the world in terms of reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. With that said, this project will supply renewable electricity cover around 30% of St. Kitts' annual electricity demand. And that will therefore support our goals of achieving 33% renewables by the end of 2027 and the broader end goal of 100% by 2035. So to bring this all into perspective, and to get a sense of the scale, this project will reduce the annual emissions that is equivalent to that of roughly 10,000 conventional or what we call internal combustion engine vehicles. More scientifically, it will reduce emissions by 45,600 tons of carbon dioxide every year that plant is in production.
All right, and thank you for that great explanation. I think our listeners will appreciate hearing how this project brings us much closer to our renewable energy targets and what it means for the environment and the country itself. So, as we continue, Mr. Roberts, why was a combination of large-scale solar and battery energy storage chosen instead of just solar alone? And what role will batteries play in keeping electricity reliable?
Yes, and of course, that is one of the key concerns persons are going to have in terms of how do we maintain reliability, given as we are aware that solar PV is variable. It's one of the variable renewable energy sources. However, there are mechanisms by which we could integrate such sources, but at the same time keep the grid stable. So, with us looking to add a large amount of solar power to a small island grid as we have here, it does have technical challenges. Solar generation, as we know, can vary very quickly with weather conditions, and there could be sudden drops as well as spikes as their cloud cover, as well as variation in the various parameters, which can affect the voltage, frequency, and all of the other things that we at SKELEC try to maintain to ensure stability. To manage these risks, the project includes a sizable battery energy storage system. The battery storage system will provide what we call ancillary services to support grid stability, such as a rapid response to sudden change in supply or demand. This will ensure that households and persons and SKELEC customers continue to receive the expected reliable electricity throughout the day and the year. To make things simple, one can imagine that it's the middle of the day, and the solar panels are producing. We speak about a 50 megawatt plant. The current peak load for St. Kitts is about 29 megawatts. So that gives you some context. So though it's quite a large plant, it's possible on a cloudy day that production can drop to 15 megawatts. So the question is, how does this expected system, what's the expected response of that system? So the battery will be expected to react almost instantly to smooth out that drop, and giving the rest of the system time to adjust so customers can continue to receive a stable electricity without noticing any disruption.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roberts. That's a clear picture of why the battery system is so important, and especially for the island grid like ours, where stability and reliability are essential. So, Mr. Williams, welcome. The press release highlights that this project could supply roughly 30% of SKELEC's annual electricity needs. Could you elaborate on what this contribution means for SKELEC's overall generation cost?
Okay, as Mr. Woods mentioned, the majority of our electricity right now is generated through diesel. And with the installation of this solar PV and battery plant, essentially you would be eliminating the need for the importation of fossil fuels to generate electricity, because all the electricity will be generated from the sun. So that 30% that Mr. Woods alluded to would actually be more in the region of 40% of the overall generation cost. So instead of finding money to buy new pistons and O-rings and cylinder heads for the generators, the main thing to do is to replace a few batteries every now and again over years, maybe replace a few solar modules, keep the grass cut so we don't have shading on the solar panels, etc. So your operations costs will be cut significantly. What does that mean in the long run? It means in the long run that my good friend here, Minister Maynard, and the rest of the government in general could look at possibly reducing the electricity bill, because you could then have stable generation costs. So you'll be able to predict what your costs are throughout the year. And then we could look at possibly reducing the tariff once everything is in place.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams, for that breakdown. It really highlights that this project isn't just environmentally important, but it also has a real economic benefits that can help shield the country from global fuel price. Minister Maynard, the government has emphasized a competitive and transparent RFP process. Why is this important, and how does it protect the public interest?
Right. So let me first start from a regional or international level. Whenever there is an assessment of any type of landscape, they look at how you engage contractors. Mm-hmm. And it is favorable in the eyes of the international community where there is a transparent process to select service providers. And so St. Kitts and Nevis will get some serious brownie points for the process that they have undertaken here with an open RFP process. But why is that important now locally as well? Because it shows to the general public that the process is, first of all, transparent. Mm-hmm. Any credible person who wishes to participate in this process can. And given that we have hired, or SKELEC has hired, an internationally known transaction advisor who will be overseeing this process, it gives confidence to the best developers in the world, the best developers in the region, to participate in this RFP process. Additionally, because there is competition among these developers, they know that they have to not only come with the best price, but the best arrangement of the project, the best integration, the best. And so what we get is best value for money. And because there is a thorough RFP process, the evaluation as well is going to look at all of these different paths to identify what is the best value for the island. The best value doesn't always mean the cheaper price, mm-hmm. because you could have someone who tries to provide the cheaper price by using shortcuts, cutting out very important things in the process. Mm-hmm. So this process allows for a comprehensive look and say, where are the value points? They assign points for each thing. And at the end of the day, what we get is the best value for money, and we get the best product. So we are very confident in this process, and it was important for the government, given the experiences that SKELEC in particular have had before, where you have situations where there are what you call unsolicited bids and single negotiated deals. Those things often do not guarantee the lowest price and best value. But now, because we have an independent transaction advisor who has looked at this independently, they won't be bidding for this. Their job is to make sure that we get the best developer. Now the developers know that somebody's eyes who has their international reputation at stake will be looking at everything they do, and they have confidence that if they have a great product to offer, that they would win. And so this type of RFP process, or request for proposal process, where there is tendering and so on, etc., is very, very important for us. It gives credibility to the project, and it answers a lot of questions even before they are asked.
Thank you very much, Minister Maynard, for that response. It really shows us that transparency and fairness is involved in this process, and definitely reassuring the public. And it's good to hear that the competitive approach ensures that we get the best value for what we are looking for. So, as you mentioned about the transaction advisors, Custodia, as transaction advisors on this project, can you explain what your role has been in structuring the 50 megawatt solar and battery project, and why getting the commercial and procurement structure right is so important for St. Kitts? On this project, can you explain what your role has been in structuring the 50?
To really help SKELEC and the government make sure this project is firstly well designed, secondly affordable, and least cost, and lastly it's really in the country's best interest, even before it goes to market. So all of this started with a detailed due diligence process. So that meant we looked at the project from technical, financial, economic, and legal perspectives, all to confirm that it makes sense and brings serious value to St. Kitts, as well as that it can actually be delivered on time and at a high quality. And then in addition to the due diligence process, we also tested market interest as we were going through this process. And that was to make sure that we knew that there was strong appetite, both from credible and high quality developers, but as well as the lenders themselves. So we got their input along the way, and that helped us really define and refine key contractual matters and risk allocation in order to ensure that this deal is bankable and will be successful. And again, all of these inputs got incorporated into the overall transaction design. So from there and where we are now is supporting, again, the government and SKELEC in structuring this project and managing the procurement process in line with best practice. And as the Honorable Minister Maynard was just explaining, following an open and competitive and transparent tender that is designed from the start to attract experienced developers and drive down costs as much as possible. As well as avoiding any sort of delays or technical issues that do occur in some of these transactions in other places and are common with these types of very complex deals. So that's what our role has been as transaction advisors, and we look forward to continuing the process.
Thank you very much, Veronica. And it's helpful to know how much work has gone into structuring this project properly before it even reaches the tender stage, and how that helps to protect the country itself over the long term. Also, Veronica, a key concern for the public is also the value for the money, as the minister mentioned. How does a well-designed IPP transaction and a competitive RFP process help to manage risk and ensure that consumers ultimately get affordable and reliable electricity?
Great, thank you. And so our priority from the start, and I think the government's and SKELEC's, has been to really ensure that there is value for money. So that means ensuring that this project is least cost and delivered at a high quality and a high technical standard. So ensuring that value for money really starts before the procurement process begins, which was part of the, as I just mentioned, the detailed due diligence process that we did. And building on that foundation is now going into the competitive and transparent RFP process. So what that means is that any developer can bid, but only those with the right experience and technical capability that needs to be proven in accordance with the RFP will be able to qualify. Then ultimately, through the evaluation and negotiation process, that project will be awarded to the bidder with the lowest price. So again, this is an important step in ensuring that we're maximizing the value for money from this project. And then generally, I think having an independent power producer model, or IPP as we've been referring to it, structure, allows us to allocate the risks to the parties best able to manage them. So again, that reduces overall costs by reducing the likelihood of delays, cost overruns, or various other technical issues that can negatively impact customers or public finances, especially when talking about such a large and important project for the country. So our role, I think, as transaction advisors has been to really ensure and design this entire procurement process and project itself in a way that prioritizes that value for money from the start.
Thank you very much for that clarification, Veronica. And it's clear that the way for the project has been designed and the competitive RFP process really focus on the delivering reliable electricity at its lowest possible cost. Mr. Williams, what opportunities will exist for local contractors, professionals, or investors to partake in this project, and how can they stay informed or get involved?
Now, as expected, a project of this magnitude will need persons from all sectors to be a part of it in terms of contribution, their skill, labor, etc. There will be a dedicated portal on the SKELEC website where local contractors, security companies, even maybe possibly persons who own animals, because we might choose to use the animals to graze under the solar panels to keep the grass down. You know, the possibilities are endless. And through this portal, everyone can register. And once you register your business, your service, you say exactly what you offer. The different developers can then go on our website, access that portal, and see who they can partner with at the different stages of the development of the project. So we encourage everyone who has a business license to register your business on the portal, and you never know. It could be cooking food, because you could get a contract to provide meals for persons while they're doing the construction work. You never know. Possibilities are endless. On the investment side, the government is also looking to put a special vehicle in place so that local investors can invest into the project once it's operational. I will leave the minister to speak a little bit more about this, but there will definitely be opportunity for local investment and local ownership of the project as well.
Mr. Maynard?
Yes, so the government is intent, of course, on ensuring that Kittitians and Nevisians have every opportunity to participate in this project. For instance, there is no restriction on, say, let us say you have someone here with, a lot of money to invest, whether it is a big company or not. There is nothing that stops them from partnering with the actual developers to be equity partners. So there's going to be an opportunity for investors to partner with developers for large-scale investment, large-scale equity input, etc. But also, what about you and I, who might want to put in, $500 or $1,000 or something and get a return on that investment? The government is actively fine-tuning how retail investors will be able to be a part of this project, because we believe that every opportunity should be given. This is our resource that we're turning into electricity, and so the people of this land must have every opportunity to be a part of that. And so that is why it's critical, and I want to say this here. We are creating these avenues now, the opportunities now. It's going to be on the website. It's going to be very accessible. We are on ZIZ talking about it. I hope that they put it in print. I encourage you to go to other radio stations. We'll probably have a town hall or two. It's going to be on my Facebook page. So when the day come, when the time has passed, I don't want to hear anybody come asking me, well, why locals couldn't be this? Why locals couldn't be that? Why Kittitians born here could not be a part of this? This is the opportunity now, and we have been very, very diligent in the approach that we have taken, a proper process to identify all that we need to do. We are not going to now wait on persons to say, well, I'll come in later. The time is now to understand what we're doing and be a part of this movement, because we really have to move speedily on our energy transition. It is about our economic survivability. It is about our stability. As you see what is happening in the world, we want to reach to a place with geothermal and solar, etc., that if the world cuts us off, we can sustain ourselves. So be a part of it.
Thank you very much, Minister Maynard and Mr. Williams. And I'm sure our listeners will be happy to know that opportunities are readily available for our local investors, contractors, professionals, and that there will be a clear process to be involved. No matter what you may want to invest, it's an open opportunity for all. And also having the support of the government backing us all the way, you know that it is something that is really, really important. So as we begin to wrap up, to our panelists, with the public consultations planned and the tender expected to be launched in February 2026, what would each of you like for the public to understand or do as this project moves forward? Mr. Maynard, you want to start?
I can round up.
All right then.
You have anything to add?
Mr. Roberts?
Mr. Roberts?
You come in. Okay, well, just to say that the project is indeed significant, and for persons to hold on to the opportunities with both hands. And from a technical standpoint, we are looking at this diligently and critically. And so persons can be assured that we are ensuring that the design and how it's structured and put together will not just allow for the transition, but will allow for the overall improvement of the service that SKELEC provides.
All right, thank you, Mr. Roberts.
If I can add to what Mr. Roberts just said, this has been something that we have been talking about for years. Mm-hmm. It's time for the actual action, and we're going to see that very shortly. We have been involved with Castalia and the team for some time, making sure all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. That has been evident by all the discussion that we have this morning, taking into consideration all the technological features that we have to consider, looking at it from an economic standpoint, and ensuring that there is public buy-in. People have the ability to access the developers to ensure that there's partnership, there's cohesion, and there's continuity to the entire project. So we have done everything within our power to not just talk, but to act and make it happen. I'm very confident that we have the best product available, and we just need the right partners now to bring it over the finish line, and just make it happen.
All right, thank you, Mr. Maynard.
Yes, so I think one of the main things is for people to stay informed, and stay informed through the official channels. Mm-hmm. The official channel here is the SKELEC's website. That is where you will find all of the information. So please, ZIZ in your news broadcasts and persons who are writing, stay attuned to SKELEC's webpage, where you will find all of the information and opportunities to give input. You can give your input. And if, for instance, you're not satisfied with that, the number for my office to ensure that I get the information as well is 662-9758. If at any point you think that SKELEC or Castalia is going down the wrong road, call that number and make the arrangement to make sure that we have the information. Because our point is this: we want to have the best product. We don't assume to have a monopoly on all of the brilliant ideas. There may be people who have insights that might be useful, but this is the time to do it now, because we're going to keep moving, because this is a critical exercise on behalf of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So get involved. Stay tuned to the official channels. That is, for instance, the SKELEC page. And when the time comes for you to be a part and to now stop, they said talk is cheap, whiskey costs money. Well, all those who are always talking about, why locals or why we can't own this. Well, this is your opportunity now. If you have $60 million sitting around to invest, bring it. And let's go.
All right, then. Thank you very much for your guys' closing thoughts. It's important that our public stays informed throughout the way, and as the Minister enforced that SKELEC website will be the dedicated page. Also, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure will be sharing the information, and as the Minister said earlier, his Facebook page as well will be sharing the information, so you can look out for information on social media. We'll also be visiting the different radio stations, and as the Minister said, we'll have town halls, and we'll also be sending out different infographics on possible questions that may arise, what customers may ask. And also on the website page, there is a section that's dedicated for feedback, where you can provide your feedback, maybe on questions you may have or suggestions, especially as locals. And we want to encourage you, you can call our office as well at 465-2000, and we'll be sure to assist you in, once you give us that information, we'll be sure to assist you in passing it on and passing on the relevant feedback to all persons involved. And we want to enforce our locals. This is your chance. This is for you to invest, come on board, because the main person that will be benefited is you. So as we close,
before you close, I just wanted to take this opportunity though to ensure that I extend gratitude to the hard work of all the folks at SKELEC in particular and at Castalia for taking the time to go through this process. While people may see an RFP being launched in February, this process started about 12 months ago, or just under 12 months ago, because it was a thorough process, no time wastage, not having access to, for instance, Castalia. I want to commend Castalia. I've been thoroughly impressed with their professionalism and the way that they have gone about doing this, and it is going to be down to the benefit of our people. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of the persons involved, from the general manager right down, Ken Rod, Hanif, Jonathan Kelly's not here, Miss Williams, and the entire team at SKELEC, and also Veronica and her team at Castalia. This has been an excellent collaboration that I have confidence will bring tremendous benefit to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
All right, thank you. We want to wish our listeners have a wonderful day, have a productive week, and remember, we're here to better serve you at all times.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.